Now, that was another topic I wanted to get to as well. Once we kind of close the book on the finals or whatnot, but just like all these coaches that got fired, going into this off season here, and it's just like I guess if we are closing the book on the finals, just based on what we were talking about, I mean, to look at Mike Budenholzer, Monty Williams, Nick Nurse, and yesterday Doc Rivers, it's like, man, I know like these teams are under pressure and not everybody can win it all. Only one team can get there and get over the top and everything else like that. But just to like fire or even let go the caliber of coaches that have been let go, it's just to me it's pretty stupid. I mean, I'm not like I don't know. I mean, look at Eric Spolstra. I mean, he's been in the hole for like whatever it's been now, at least 10 years, right? 15 years or something. I can't even count. Popovich. And look at how many bad seasons or just below average seasons they've had, but it's like you keep the caliber of coach in place, I feel like that's just, winning 60% of their games or more, or getting their team to playoffs year in, year out, or, conference finals, other things, winning it all. It's like, to me, just super mind blowing. I didn't know if of those four firings, if you agreed with any, or if you felt like strongly about certain guys that shouldn't been, let go in those situations. Because, I mean, for me, maybe Doc Rivers is the only guy I'd say like, maybe you just need to change up the culture a little bit of that team. Maybe you just need to like kind of cut that one off because it seemed to drag on, especially throughout the Ben Simmons era. But the other three, I just don't get.
Yeah. No, I agree on Doc Rivers. I think there's a lot of players that will go to bat for like, yeah, he wasn't the greatest coach. Like he has this perception as a player's coach, but then when making like in-game adjustments, he's always been somebody that's been scrutinized. Like he had really talented Clippers team, right? Lob City, right? Not be able to take them to the chip for with that squad. So I think he hit some early success with that. I think it was like an Orlando Magic team with like Daryl Armstrong and like forget some of the other players. I don't know if like Ben Wallace was there maybe or something, but I think they made like the eighth seed, but like they were predicted to be like the worst team in the entire NBA. But lo and behold, they made the playoffs as an eighth seed, and I think that put him on the map. And obviously, he's a former player, but after that season, it's just been, sure, yeah, he had the Celtics, but it's like anybody. I always felt like anybody the one with that Celtics squad, with Rondo, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett was like, just don't screw this up. So, I definitely agree with your sentiment on Doc Rivers, Nick Nurse. Um, that guy needs to be a head coach. I think if I am either the Suns or the Bucks, right? Or the 76ers, he's my first pick. The in-game adjustments, I think, was the key thing that he made during that the NBA championship run that he had with the Toronto Raptors and Kawhi and company. Like those things were amazing. He made great adjustments there. He's a really good coach. It's just it for me. It definitely felt like that their timeline and like what Nick Nurse wants. I think Nick Nurse like he wants to win, and I don't know if with the way that the Toronto Raptors are constructed right now, like they're going to be championship contenders like in the next couple of years. They're kind of just building up a squad of young talent, and I don't think that there's maybe a Kawhi Leonard type of trade, right? That they'll be doing. So all that being said, I that's where I'm thinking Nick Nurse. It sounded like it was kind of a mutual decision between both of them. So, uh, yeah, he's going to get a head coaching job, probably one of those top teams that we mentioned there. Monty Williams, I think, was much more of the GM trying to cover his ass than anything with trading uh, high caliber players, right? In Bridges and Johnson, and I think there was some picks too maybe involved as well. So it's like, yeah, oh, it was the coaching, it was the coach's fault and stuff like that. Um, that's what I feel like. Yeah, it was a little bit more the GM just trying to cover his ass. Yeah, so I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel about all that. But I think the Suns, for me now, it's kind of the question of like, man, this KD guy, like you get one of the best players in the world, right, going to this team. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think I picked the Suns to go to the finals at the beginning of the playoffs, but yeah, it just goes to show like it's even though if you get KD and stuff, KD definitely has his own questionable baggage. I think with regards to you know is he always like a good fit for teams, and is his willpower to just win and things like that, and uh, yeah, how he always has to go to teams that are already good in order to win championships apparently. So, but no, yeah, I just feel really strongly though that yeah, Nick Nurse, great coach, Monty Williams, he was just uh, kind of a scapegoat there.
Yeah. No, with Monty especially, I mean, in the bubble and that whole season when he was able to rally the Suns and get them out of the basement to becoming like, a true contender to what they are, now. I mean, they've on paper, become a juggernaut, but in practice, I'm not really sure if it's truly one of those. I feel like, yeah, obviously Monty was scapegoated. The new owner, Matt Ishbia, probably wanted to make, a huge statement with the Durant move and then obviously win it all in maybe his first year, or kind of feel like he's on the doorstep there going into year two. But yeah, Monty becomes like a true victim in all this because I feel like all those players probably love, playing for Monty and being around a guy like that. He just has like a ton of character. Um, he'll get a job like for sure next year. I don't know where he's going to go. I mean, I think any of those vacancies would make a lot of sense for a guy like that. Team that's ready to compete in the playoffs. I'd be calling him right away as well. I mean, same for Budenholzer too. I mean, I think he leaves the Bucks with like a 680, 690 winning percentage and a championship, and did a lot of great work in Atlanta to get that team, back into the playoff mix year in year out, and obviously did a lot with the Bucks too. And it just felt like, Giannis doesn't get injured, we're having a different conversation. I feel like right now, if he played, throughout that first series, in full, could have been a completely different narrative. So again, I feel like it's pulling the trigger a little bit too quickly there. And I mean, these guys will all land new jobs. Just kind of like as franchises, I'm kind of scratching my head with some of his decision making because great coaches don't always come around too often, and you let some losses and some series letdowns go, and over time, I feel like the wins will come back and keep you consistent. But yeah, no, truly crazy. And you went on a tangent a little bit while you were talking about coaches, and I wanted to touch on the points you made, but now I'm like, it's slipping my mind a little bit on what you moved
I
into.
think yeah, I think it was like something with KD's legacy. Yeah, I know we're bouncing around, but yeah, I do want to talk about Budenholzer, but it's like first, and then we can talk about KD, maybe his legacy. I think Budenholzer, like his brother died, right? Like during this series. Like, how does that not affect somebody, as stoic as somebody can be? So, like, yeah, like, why should I care about making that halftime adjustment when, oh, I'm grieving? Like, there's no bereavement period, right, for these coaches in this time period. So, like, is there no sympathy towards that? That I think that was my biggest thing. And then yeah, I know there was that whole Giannis thing that right he was talking about. Yeah, like Jordan, he won 6 championships out of 15, right, or something like that, and he's like, yeah, are the other 9 seasons failures for him? Like, I don't know. I think that's a valid point. So, um, to me, it was just like this. It just kind of I don't know, just go to show like we have like no patience or as a society for anybody like not just winning a championship. It's like, oh, it's you either win the championship or you're a failure. And